The sole purpose of this video is to provide a basic overview and orientation of your new apparatus. This video is not intended to act as or replace individualized driver-operator training. Individual fire departments may base guidelines, policies, and procedures tailored for best practices. Pierce Manufacturing and Hughes Fire Equipment representatives are not liable for injuries caused from acts resulting from actions inconsistent with the information provided within this video and/or accompanying manuals. Refer to the Operation and Maintenance Manual for complete details relating to the components and features of this apparatus. Only trained personnel should operate this vehicle or perform maintenance. You are responsible for learning how to operate this fire apparatus under all conditions without having to refer to the manual while operating at an emergency incident. This video will discuss types of warnings and caution labels. It is your responsibility to locate and identify each of the labels and understand the importance and associated hazards. Warning labels will point out procedure that must be taken or action that must be avoided to guard against the possibility of serious injury or death. Caution labels will advise you that there is a risk of damage to property if certain precautions are not followed. Continuous training, reviewing of operation and service manuals, developing good standardized practices will assist driver operators with a more complete understanding of the components and operation of this fire apparatus. As the driver operator of this vehicle, you are responsible for understanding the function of each component of the apparatus, maintaining control of the fire apparatus at all times while in operation. Make operational and functional changes while operating at an emergency without having to read operator's instructions or safety warning labels. Operate manual override and emergency shutdown procedures immediately if a component fails to operate properly. Components location may vary with each Pierce fire apparatus. Review the exact location of each component prior to operation. Major inconsistencies between your vehicle and the information contained in this video should be directed to your sales representative. Safe operation of any vehicle is the responsibility of the driver operator. You must learn the location and function of all controls, switches, gauges, valves, inlets, and discharges. Due to a higher center of gravity, heavy trucks have a significantly higher rollover tendency than other types of vehicles. To reduce the risk of rollover, avoid making sharp turns, excessive speed, and avoid abrupt maneuvers. In the event of a rollover crash, an unbelted person is significantly more likely to become injured or die than a person wearing a seatbelt. In the event of a crash, unbuckled occupants can also become a hazard to other occupants, as they may be thrown around inside the cab. Seatbelts are required while in operation. Please refer to your warranty certificates for details and information enclosed in your manuals. Customer-installed equipment must be mounted to withstand road travel and comply with NFPA 1901. Modifications such as drilling holes or welding to structural frame components of the chassis are not permitted. Contact Pierce for instruction and review of non-structural sheet metal or other dissimilar metals for modification. Follow the radio installation guide for further assistance on installing or mounting electronics. Before placing your new apparatus into service, perform a primary inspection of key components of the apparatus, including all fluid levels, anti-lock braking systems, electronic stability control, and automatic traction control. Weigh your apparatus to ensure that it conforms to axle and brake ratings. Never exceed the gross axle rating printed on the label inside the cab. Exceeding these ratings could lead to reduced component life, personal injury, or death. Review the use of auxiliary braking systems, compression brake, exhaust brake, electronic retarder, and hydraulic retarder. Before placing the apparatus in service, refer to the operational maintenance manuals. Information on the operation and maintenance functions for the components such as the pump, pressure governor, and foam systems, along with other options, is provided in either the Pierce manuals and/or other manufacturer support information delivered with the apparatus. If you need more information, please contact Hughes Fire Equipment. Congratulations, Central Kitsap, on your new fire apparatus, job number 32328. Please utilize this job number when referencing your apparatus with Hughes Fire Equipment and Pierce Manufacturing. Let's get started on a brief orientation of your new apparatus. Let's start down at the front bumper. On the passenger side bumper face, you'll find a mechanical siren. Just inside of that location, you'll find 2 tow hooks. Moving just to the driver's side face of the bumper is where you'll find your mechanical siren and PA speaker system. Moving on to the top of the bumper area, you'll find 2 tubbed storage locations with D handles, and also located in the center, you'll find the access location to your winch. Moving on to the outside edge of your bumper, you'll find an emergency warning side-facing light. And then all the way up to the top, you'll find your headlights cluster. This will be the low and high beam on the inside, low on the out. Just up from that, you'll find your emergency warning lights. And then up onto the top in the windshield, you'll find your windshield wipers. And moving further up onto the brow of the apparatus is where you'll find your 5 running lights. Located in the center of the apparatus, forward-facing, you'll find a forward-facing floodlight. And then moving up onto the top of the apparatus, you'll find your emergency warning light bar. Located in the center of that light bar is where you'll find your traffic advisor opticom. Let's take a couple close-up looks at some of those items we just talked about. First, also on the side, you'll find an attachment point here and also a 12-volt access point. This is for the use of your winch or any other devices. Looking on the sides of the bumper, you'll find those tubbed storage locations. Let's go ahead and move to the center section of the bumper. You're going to have the access point opened and also the front bumper section drop down. This will gain access to your electric winch. On the right-hand side of this image, you'll find the engaged and free spool mechanism for the winch. And on the left side, you'll find the cable for your controls. As we look to the headlights, you'll find on the inside the high beam and on the outer edge the low beam. On the side of the door hinge is where you'll find the side-facing camera for your turn indicator. You'll also find in the stepwell your auto charge status center, and then just next to it is the shoreline inlet. When plugged into shore power, the auto charge system will activate. This is a 30 amp plug. To the right, you'll find your air inlet. As we look to the cab, you'll find all of your doors are keyed for latches. In addition, at all points of entry, you have grab handles. As we move through the compartment, we'll find additional access points. This is the rear section of the cab. As we move to the body of the vehicle, you'll find just in front of the duals, you'll find your storage location for your wheel chocks. You'll also find an underbody storage location with LED lighting. As you move just to the rear of that location, you'll find your foam fill operations. As we move to the compartment, just inside the compartment on the left-hand side, you'll find this control module. We'll go over that next. In addition, with a pull-out style shelf, there is the mechanism on the right to allow that shelf to be opened and closed. Moving to the area where your generator module is located, first we'll start with your instructions in the upper right-hand corner for operation of that generator. You'll also find the amperage readouts on the left and generator hours. Next to it, you'll find your awning control and also remote for that awning control. As we move just beneath this area, you'll find the start-stop button for your generator. And to the right, you'll find a green indicator if the generator is on. This light should be illuminated. Just beneath that, you'll find 2 fuse locations for your frequency meter and also your voltmeter. As we look to the electrical panel for your generator, you can see it's labeled G1. It stands for generator. Just beneath that, you'll find the S1, which is your shore power. As we move up to the left-hand corner, you'll find your Wilbert. This is your light stand.
This is the stop or emergency stop, and also you have a start for gaining control of that. Directions are also located on the actual lower section of this device. The light tower height is 22 feet 9.5 inches. You also have additional air inlets in this same compartment just underneath, and then you also have two work lights. Let's move up to the very top of the apparatus. You'll find two negative and positive. These are your 12-volt studs. And then just underneath this compartment is where you'll find your foam water discharge and also your overflow bleeder. As we move to the right, you'll find your CAFS system. This is your Hercules CAF system. We'll talk about that next. And then you'll also find release mechanisms for those rollout shelves. The upper shelf is a rollout shelf that goes either out the left or right side. As we move to the Hercules system, first we'll start with your pressure regulator on the right-hand side. You also has a system activation, which is for on and off. There is a green indicator indicating that it's on. And then you also have your air bleed down. That's on the very far right, and you can see your gauges on the left-hand side. You have your regulator pressure. Just beneath that, you have your agent or tank pressure. And then beneath that, you have your bottle pressure. Moving further back, you'll find your blue DEF cap. This is a 4.5 US gallon tank. You also have an exterior generator plug. This is for supplying power. As we move to the center compartment over the rear wheels, you'll find additional shelving. These are pull-out and drop-down shelves in the lower section, and the top section is a pull-out style shelf. The mechanism on your left will also allow you to drop down that door to gain access to those items behind this area and allow that shelf to be pulled outward. You do have additional bottle storage locations with retaining straps. As we move through in the next compartment, you'll find that same mechanism for shelving. The two black knobs will allow the release mechanism, allow it to be pulled outward and drop down. Same thing with the lower shelf. Two black levers will allow it to be released and pulled out and drop down. Just behind the rear wheels is where you'll find your diesel fill location. This is a silver cap. And then as we move further to the back, you'll find your air compressor for your breathing air. We'll go over that in a few moments. On the right-hand side, you'll find your electrical cord reel. Let's first start at the very top. You can see all of your gauges are labeled as in bank 1, 2, 3, and 4. And then you also have your control knob for each of those bank. As we move further down in this control panel, you'll also find your supply pressure and then also your system refill to the far right-hand side. And then just beneath that on the left is where you'll find your CAFS supply valve. Moving further down to the right, you'll find the regulator. There are some additional caution and warning labels just to the right where the SCBA bottles are stored and put inside the device for filling. Please familiarize yourself with those and also the owner's manual. Let's move further to the right. First, for your plug-in for your awning system, this is for the generated power in the upper right-hand corner. And then you also have your cord rewind. This is for your electrical cord. As we look to the very top, you do have a reel reset. This is for the electronic motor for your reel rewind. This is going to be a 200-foot cord. This is the rewind switch for rewinding that electric cord back in. In the rear section, you'll find your brake, turn, and also backup lights in addition to an emergency warning light. You do have some warning labels here. Not to ride on the rear of the apparatus is for the danger and safety of your firefighters. As we move up to the top, you'll find the activation switch for illuminating lights within inside the area above. And then you also have an additional placard here regarding warning not to step on that step in its current position. These are your rear scene lights as previously indicated. And then also underneath the step area, you'll find all of your supply tanks and their valves and also the shutoffs. In addition to that step area, slightly above that, you'll find an additional ladder storage and also additional long pole tool storage. Let's move down to the top of the apparatus. You have storage compartments both on the passenger and driver side. There are LED lights inside those compartments. And we'll go ahead and move forward to the forward section. This is going to be near the cab. You'll find your generator, and then you'll also find your CAFS system for the stored energy in that area. First, your Cummins generator. Let's go over some of the items here. Down in the module, we'll find first on the right-hand side is the fill location. You can see that the gauge is on the far right-hand side, and then you can also see on the left-hand side you have an on-off for the 50 amp 2-pole AC breaker, and then also your start-stop switch. It does have a preheat, and there is information on the right-hand side. For service, the oil drain is located in the very top section. As we move forward, you'll find all of your CAFS information, or I should say tank, and this is also the location where you find the fill for that CAFS system. There is also down in the lower right-hand corner a drain. As we look at this drain valve here, you can see it's just a quarter-turn ball valve style. Moving to the center area is where you're going to find your light tower. Controls once again down in that lower left-hand compartment. On the front of the cab, you will find the do not walk on this area. It's very slippery, and there is a warning level for that. There is also a warning label for extremely hot diesel exhaust temperatures, and be cautious as to where you park your vehicle. Moving to the right side of the vehicle, this is the very right side rear compartment. We'll find your cord storage, 200-foot electrical cord, and this is also the rewind switch for that. In the upper left-hand corner is also where you'll find that reset for that motor. Down in the lower section, you'll find a pull-out style shelf. This is the release mechanism for that shelf. And as we move up to the very top in this compartment, you'll find the double latches to release and drop down this shelf. There is a pass-through shelf here. That's the indication for the two black indicators. And then there's also the cable which allows it to release to be stored back in its original position. This is your 200-foot reel rewind. And then once again, in the upper corner is the reel reset. That's for the electrical motor on the reel. You do have an additional fill location on the right side of the vehicle. This is for your ultra low sulfur diesel. It is a silver cap. And as we go through the compartments, you'll find the same latch mechanism on each of those shelves as you did on the passenger side and driver's side. As we move forward, you'll find two storage locations for bottle storage in addition with those retaining straps. Same mechanism here. I'm just pointing here at this indication here. There is an electrical outlet up in this upper right-hand corner. And that's what we're trying to indicate here. This is the shore generated outlet, which means it has shore power and also generated power. On the exterior, you'll find a generator plug here, 20 amp. That's just for your generator. And then as we move through the next set of compartments here, we'll find those same latch mechanisms and also releases. Just a quick reminder, the cable is to allow you to return it back to its original position. As we look to the left, you'll find your exhaust. And once again, be cautious as to where you park for those superheated gas temperatures. In the right-hand side, you'll find your cab lift. There is a caution and also danger. Please familiarize yourself with those prior to using the cab lift. You also have additional awning control for the right-hand side of the vehicle. This is, as you can see, it's labeled PS for passenger side, and this is your awning control mechanism when plugged into generated shore power. Let's go ahead and move just inside the cab of the vehicle. We're in the rear section of the cab. As we enter into the cab, you'll find at all points of entry these caution and warning labels here for your safety. Located in the center, you'll find at the back of the engine all of your access points for gaining oil and transmission. These are for your daily checks. As we look through the compartment, you have two rear-facing compartments with roll-up doors and LED lighting inside. And then you can see across the back, there are 4 seats. 2 of them on the outer edges have the fold down or flip down seats. Above your head, you'll find your push on and off red and white lights and also your headsets. You'll also find just behind those cabinets, you'll find shore power and also generated power electrical plugs. Underneath the rear seats is where you'll find your auto charging system. You'll also find your federal siren control behind the seat. General view looking from the rear to the front area. Let's go ahead and move now to the passenger side of the vehicle. Once again, points of entry, you'll find those warning labels here. Your vehicle is also equipped with a supplemental restraint system, an airbag. That's what the SRS is indicating. There is a warning label here just beneath that, not to block this area, and be cautious as to where you mount equipment. Moving to the right-hand side of this location at the hinged area of the door is where you'll find your fill for your windshield wiper. And then down at the very bottom, you'll find foot pedal control for your emergency and also air horn. As you can see, you have your air horn on the left, electronic siren on the right. And just a little bit closer view here of the hinged area of the door where you'd find the fill location for your windshield wiper. Overhead, you'll find your FireCom wireless control system. Moving up from that location, you'll also find the FireCom control module. We'll talk about what's to the left as far as the switches. These are going to be all of your scene lights for emergency, passenger side, front zone, and rear zone. And then you'll also find to the far left AM/FM stereo weather control band. Moving to the center of the area, you'll find 12-volt barrel style access and also USB access here. These are 12-volt accessories. And then moving just forward of that location, this is your vehicle data recorder. This is the port for plugging in for gathering that vehicle data information. Overhead, you'll find your FireCom system. This is just a close-up here to identify some of the items. Here are those sets of switches. You have an emergency master, driver's side body scene, front scene. That's the white light in the very front in the center of your apparatus. And then you also have the passenger side body scene. Let's move to the left of this location. You'll find your AM/FM CD weather band radio. Moving further to the left overhead, more toward the center, you'll find your directional indicator for your traffic advisor. Down on the center console, you'll find USB access, also your siren control, and then also your generator start, stop, and preheat switch. There is a green indicating light if it is operational. Located in the center, you'll find the red indicator, do not move your apparatus. If this light is illuminated, you may have a compartment door open. You'll also find push on and off red or white lights that are overhead. As we move to the driver's area, once again, a point of entry, you'll find those warning labels here. And then as we move into the inside, you'll find your door latch and also window controls. Down at the foot level, you'll find the air horn and also electronic siren. And at the right-hand side of the operator, you'll find this manufactured by Pierce. This is your label indicating the gross vehicle weight ratings. It also has the date of manufacture, job number, chassis type, VIN number, and also all of your components for fluid capacities and fluid types. As we move to about the left knee of the operator, you'll find your master on and off switch. This is to gain access to your batteries. And then you'll also find diagnostic ports here for tech module, engine transmission, and ABS, and also your display port. On the left, you'll find your regen inhibit, ABS diagnostic, and DPF regen. Moving up from that location, you'll find for the operator all of their window controls. This is the passenger side window, driver's side, passenger side cab windows, electronic siren control, and also an air horn switch. On the right-hand side of the console, you'll find your interaxle differential lock or unlock. When it's locked, you'll find the red indicator lit. Moving up onto the dash area, this is the left-hand side of the dash, you'll find your ignition switch. Moving up from that location, the start switch and also hazard lights. To the right, you'll find your emergency master switch, headlights, and also panel rocker switch for brightening and dimming the panel lights. And let's go ahead and go over some of the items within the area of your panel. First, on the left, we'll start with the transmission oil DEF level and water temperature. Located in the center, you'll find your tachometer and speedometer. Further to the right, you'll find your volts, fuel, front and rear air. You do have informational displays below and above the speedometer. On the left-hand side of the image, you'll find your pull to apply your system parking brake and push to release. Just to the right of that, you'll find a yellow placard for the height, vehicle weight, and also length. Located in the center, you'll find your Pierce command zone. Tremendous amount of information available here at your fingertips. Please see your owner's manual for operations. You'll also find a close-up here of the system parking brake. Once again, pull to apply, push to release. This is your height, 10 feet 11 inches. The length, 39 feet 4 inches. Gross vehicle weight rating of 61,500 pounds. Your push-button Allison transmission pad. To the right of that, you'll find all of your switches regarding your engine brake on and off, high, medium, and low settings for that engine brake, a generator start and stop, traction off-road, mirror heat, and then also a siren brake. You'll also find this caution label down in the lower left regarding disengage the retarder when on wet surfaces. At the very top, you'll find your climate control. Moving overhead of the operator, we'll go over these set of switches next. First, starting in the upper left-hand side of the operator, you'll find your emergency master. You have a roof light, front warning light, side warning light. The next section down, you'll find your lower rear warning, upper rear warning, a high beam flash, and then to the right, the Opticom control module. Moving further to the right of the operator, you'll find your driver's side body scene lights, front scene, passenger side body scene lights, and then your rear scene lights. Down at the next section down, you're going to find your front white flash, all of your perimeter lights, lower side scenes, and also your load manager. Moving further to the right, this is down on the console, your mirror controls. Congratulations, Central Kitsap, Washington, on your new fire apparatus. If you have any questions regarding this apparatus, please contact your Hughes Fire sales representative. Thank you and congratulations.